The Tigers last night, good Lord, guys. 1-0 loss to one of the worst teams in baseball in recent memory. And honestly, these are the kind of games that make you want to expedite the next wave of position players, right? I mean, when you go out and they get 4 hits or whatever it was, and they get shut out, it's frustrating as hell because you're like, well, Justin Henry Malloy can do that. Parker Meadows can do that. Colt Keith can do that. They wouldn't cost anything. They'd be far more exciting. And, there's some promise there. There's some promise there. Now, I expect the likes of Henry Malloy and Meadows and Colt Keith to struggle when they get here. But the sooner they get here, you do have to wonder if they'll eventually, it'll help their development. Now, it's pretty typical to want to see your guys prove themselves at every level before they get called up. And, there's a certain timeline where you go, okay, that's enough. I've seen enough. It's time for the next step. But when you're at the big league level, when you go out and get shut out by Oakland 1-0, it does make you turn your eye to the next wave, right? I mean, it really does. And, this was an opportunity for the Tigers to go out and take advantage of the schedule. And the minimum requirement continues to be win the series. But I said yesterday, and this is where, I didn't predict it was going to happen, but I said, come on, sweep somebody. Sweep somebody. And sweep them like a candidate to get swept. I'm not asking you to sweep the Braves. It just feels like such a blown opportunity and wasted brilliant young pitching performances. Skubal came back, and look, on yesterday's program, I was talking about you don't have to be elite Tarek Skubal. Just be better than Joey Wentz, and it's an improvement. Be better than Matt Boyd was, and it's an improvement. And he was elite Skubal. Now, he's on a pitch count. He threw 58 pitches or whatever it was. But he gave him no hits and struck out 6. Wasted. Reese Olson comes in. 5 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 5 Ks. Wasted. Because they couldn't scratch out a single solitary run. And, we brought up yesterday the fact that starter Sears, his secondary numbers are pretty good. His walks and hits per innings pitch is good. But he was 1-6 on the year with an ERA. I think it's over 4. But he wasn't giving up a lot of base runners. And boy, the Tigers didn't produce a lot of base runners last night. It was a frustrating game on a night where, people showed up and people tuned in. Holiday, chance to see the Tigers, try and claw back into this thing. And they kind of blew it.
But isn't this the predicament that all fans are in with the Tigers right now? I think you're looking at they're only 5, and they're the team that's 5.5 back or 5 back or 4.5 back. When really you should be looking at the team that's 10 games under 500. And teams that are 10 games under 500, this happens to them, right? There's it's not like they had a great offense and all of a sudden didn't show up last night. They've been pretty bad all year offensively. And sometimes, and a lot of reasons, it's one or the other or both is the reason why you're 10 games under 500.
Yep.
But yeah, it does suck, of course. But
it's what happens to teams that they are what they are.
Exactly.
Now, and yet they're only 5.5 out. They're still in this thing. And, I hate to say it, but I expect them to win the next 2. I expect them to win the next 2. And they probably won't. But, the reality is they went out and really kind of did something that's never been done before. I'm looking for the tweet. I thought I had it here in my show notes, but I don't. But it's hard to hit a team and lose. It's really hard to 2-hit a team and lose.
Yeah, I don't think it's what the Tigers did specifically last night. Hadn't been done since 1913.
Is that what it was?
Strike out a team 12 times, at least 12 strikeouts, and under 2 hits.
2 hits or fewer.
Yeah, and lose.
And no earned runs and yet
no
lose a
earned runs.
game.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I just found it here. Since earned runs became an official stat in 1913, major league teams have been a combined 319, 0, and 1. There was a tie, apparently, when putting up these numbers over time. 12 strikeouts, 2 hits or fewer, no earned runs, yet lose the game. 319. Those teams with those stat lines now are 319, 1 and 1. The Tigers last night are the first team to lose. Are you kidding me? And to make matters worse, the Twins and the Gry both won. And the net result is the Tigers are 5.5 back. I mean, part of probably my issue is, and that where the frustration sets in, is, I mean, first of all, expecting a team that's 10 games under to do something that good teams do. But I want them to act like a team that's at least capable of making a run in this division, because you don't really have to be all that good to win this division. 500 might get it done, which is clearly average. But nothing happens in a straight line with this Tigers team. Like they had the anytime there's a modicum of progress, it gets wasted. There's no straight line success with this Tiger team.
It's hard because when you look at them, you look at one category, like I said, wow, they're only this many games back from first, which is getting a playoff spot. And then the other category you look at is, dude, they're 10 games under 500. They're not even that good. It's hard to separate the two. You know, when you're watching and you have rooting interest and you need wins against teams that aren't good.
Yep.
And so, but then you also, like I said, when you're looking at that race, you're looking at the A's suck. We're only 5 back. You forget the category where they're 10 games under and they're not that good either. And you're right. Nothing happens. You know, it's a roller coaster, but mostly down because they're not good.
Yeah. And then you just sit there and go, all right, can't Justin Henry Malloy go 0 for 3? Can't Colt Keith go 0 for 3? I'd be far more interested. And that injection, you know what that provides, though? And this is the one thing that you can't really measure. It gives you a little bit of juice. You can't tell me that if Colt Keith is in the clubhouse and everybody sees that he was a dominant hitter at AA and hit 460 at AAA, that there wouldn't be juice. And I know he's not, and I'm putting quotes, ready. But, and there's the whole rookie thing, right? Once they play game 102, he can be called up playing 59 games and still be a rookie next year. And so that could be a determining factor. So that's a few weeks away. And that might be it. But he may force their hand ahead of time.